Hey guys, James here, how's it going? So this is going to be a response to Michael, aka Rational Roundtable's video, which is a response to Dhorpatan's video, Challenge to Theists. I've got some agreements with you and I have some disagreements with you. I think your response to Dhorpatan's argument that there is no God was absolutely excellent. And you must have watched it a few more times than me. When I watched it, the whole thing was screaming logical fallacies, but I couldn't quite place exactly where those fallacies were. It seems like an atheist equivalent of the theist argument. Imagine the most powerful god you can. He'd be even more powerful if he existed. Therefore he exists. And of course you can use that same argument with absolutely anything. And it's just clever wordplay. It's hard to place the logical fallacy, but you know it's actually there. For example, I could say, imagine a perfect woman. She'd be even more perfect if she existed outside of your mind. Therefore, she exists. Clearly, it's just completely false. So yeah, well done on that. That was absolutely excellent. However, I am going to disagree with you on your argument that there must be a god. So in your video you mentioned some other belief systems, so I'll just run through those. First off, theism. Personally, I think it's absolutely ludicrous. However, I do respect your views. Personally, I just think it's ludicrous because the universe just seems far too random, chaotic. So I don't believe there's any personal god. It doesn't seem to take side. There doesn't seem to be any side taking with anyone of any particular belief system. Bad things happen to good and bad people. There's no bias there. The universe is just seems far too chaotic and random in that respect. Also, we're just far too insignificant on the scale of things. Our sun is one of 100 billion other stars, at least in our galaxy, which is one of another 100,000 billion other galaxies. So the idea that that planet Earth is this really special thing just makes no sense whatsoever. Now, deism and polydeism, they do make sense. There's no way of disproving them. It's quite possible. However, there's no evidence to believe this to be the case either. It's a bit irrelevant really on the scale of things anyway, because it would make no difference to our lives whether it's true or not. Now, pantheism. Well, I think that's just purely symbolic, it's purely metaphor. There's no belief there, really, at all. For example, Einstein's quote, "God doesn't play with dice," can be translated to the universe isn't random. I don't see any belief system there. So your argument basically consists of the first cause argument. And I've got a few reasons why I don't support this. So before I start then, I think we'd better define what a god is. And of course you may disagree with me on this. I find it interesting that you think that God must be composed of matter, or at least energy, and yeah, lots of theists would probably very much disagree with you there. I think one attribute which you'd have to give a god would be intelligent. So for the purpose of this argument, I'm going to define God as an intelligence which has the power to create matter. Now, something can be creative without being intelligent. As crazy as that sounds, I will get to that a bit later in the video. Now, personally, I believe multiverse theory. And I don't think multiverse theory disproves God. I don't think a God would disprove multiverse theory. And there's many competing theories for the multiverse already. However, I do think I've got some original points which I can add to the mix here. But that is a topic for another video though, and it will probably be about half an hour long. So I'll leave the multiverse thing alone for now. So the first cause argument is basically that the universe had a beginning, and therefore it must have been created by something. Of course that then begs the question, well, what created God? And theists will point to scripture saying that God's eternal. However, outside of the Bible, there's no reason to assume that. Intelligence has to have a cause because of its complexity. You can't have something that complex spontaneously form. That would be more improbable, I think, than the universe spontaneously forming. And I cannot see that argument as a proof of God at all. I mean, if a God's eternal, why can the universe not be eternal? I haven't heard any decent arguments as to why a God can always have existed, but not the energy which composes the universe we see today. Moving on then, even if you completely reject the possibility of the matter of the universe being eternal, and do prescribe the multiverse or the universe as having a first cause, I still don't think there's any justification in assuming with certainty that that first cause is in fact God. I could certainly describe it as a creative force, but as I said earlier, creativity doesn't demand an intelligence. Now an example I'd use of this is evolution. I'm not sure what your stance on evolution is, I haven't really heard you talk about it, but I presume you at least have a pretty solid grasp of the basics. There's nothing magical about evolution, there's no intelligence guiding it. However, you certainly would be well within your rights to call it a creative force, in a way. There's no reason that the universe could have formed by a creative force with a lack of intelligence. In fact, I think you most certainly would describe the universe in that way. However, yeah, there's no reason to assume that there's an intelligence there. And in fact, I think there would be better reason to believe that there isn't an intelligence. I mean, everything looks exactly how it would form if it was obeying the laws of nature. You don't look up in the sky and see nebulas which look like perfect photos. You don't see galaxies moving in intelligent ways or anything like that. I don't see any reason to assume that whatever caused the universe has any real intelligence of its own. Now, you could describe the creative force which made the universe in a pantheological sense, but as I said, I think I take that purely as metaphor. I don't believe in calling that God. And some of the pantheism arguments just get a little bit silly. I think you do need, if we're going to talk about God, we do need a rigid definition, or otherwise you could end up calling anything God. I've heard people say God is love and other meaningless drivel like that. So yeah, those are my arguments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.